Audience members, I want to start by asking you to please silence your electronic devices. I would also like to remind you that in addition to the audience in this room, we have people watching and listening online. So please consider your language in comments and testimony today. Today's meeting is a hybrid board meeting. Some presenters and guests will appear in person and some will appear virtually. For those presenting virtually, please mute your mic when not speaking, and when presenting, make sure to unmute your mic and turn on your camera. And for those joining us in person to provide public testimony or present, please turn your mic on when you begin speaking so that the green light is showing, and off when you've completed your remarks so that the red light is showing. For all presenters, please state your name for the record before speaking and responding to questions. And Commissioner Jones-Dickson will be beginning this meeting virtually today. There are no items on the consent agenda this week, so Tasia, can we move on to public testimony?
Opportunity for public comment on non-agenda matters. This is a time for the board to hear public testimony, not for board deliberation. When it's your turn to speak, I will call your name and unmute you or call you to the presenter's table. I will set a timer for 3 minutes when you begin speaking and announce when your time is up, at which point please wrap up your sentence. We have 3 people signed up for verbal testimony. We have Dan Hagan, Kathleen Brennan, and Injured and Pissed Off. Yeah, go ahead.
You just push the button and it'll turn green. Great, good morning.
Time starts. Good morning. Thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody in the audience online. So I have what looks like from the county's perspective, a continuing issue. There has been some very disturbing instances, excuse me, at the Central Library. As you know, Perry Gardner resigned from his quote over the past 4 years. Now, this is the manager who runs it. I have experienced instances of microaggression, discrimination, and retaliation within the workplace. And if you can imagine, if that's the manager, how do they treat patrons? It's worse than that. I did give each person, a board member, a little alcoholic rub. And this is a perfect example of what the downtown staff think. So they don't clean the keyboards. They don't disinfect them. And so if you go to ask, can I get something to disinfect it? This is what they'll give you. And it is literally 1 inch by 2 inch piece of paper or alcoholic rub. That's what they expect patrons to use, while at the same time, they have one of those pull-out things with big things, a spray bottle of alcohol, and refuse to give patrons that. Now, when I walked in on Sunday, they were kicking somebody out right then. And I stood and watched. The gentleman could barely speak English. And, quote, the reason he was being kicked out for a month was staring at staff and taking up too much staff time. 30 days for that. Now, as I stood there and watched that, I went in to wait to see how long they were going to bring his paperwork. In that time, I got kicked out for a week, just standing there doing nothing. And I did, email some of the information to the staff. I hoped it was staff members, but ultimately, the management, the culture is disturbing. One of the biggest things I found out, the manager who runs that says no staff member has to identify themselves at all. So any of these instances where I feel like I've been treated unfairly, I have no opportunity to find out who was involved at all. Now, I'm pretty sure there's an ORS statute that says you have to identify yourself if you have a badge it's not solely for internal use. So my question or my hope is that I can get the footage that they keep corrupting so I can't get it downloaded, and it'll help exonerate the initial exclusion that started this whole process And now that I've added a second one, you get a week, and now it could be a month or a year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.